to the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream. It is Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. We're going to start right in. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. The Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net is an amateur radio net sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club, offered every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. here on the OMARC 805 repeater. That is 146.805 Mhz with the PL tone of 103.5. If there are any check-ins, please call now. Hey, Chris. How are you? Hey, Gigi. How's everybody? Getting chilly up here now. It is 4.9 out. The net recognizes K2BHM. How are you tonight, Jim?
Hanging in there. Had a frustrating day today. Getting stuff ready for the winter and everything want me every inch of the way. One of those crappy days.
Yep, I had a week like that last week and then bits and pieces of it this week so far, so seems to be the trend.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting
What
your
was
tongue,
that
Geeky?
song? If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, you guys got frost today, huh? So you're catching up.
So anyhow, any luck on your Raspberry Pi monitoring situation?
I've got a couple of sensors working in parasitic mode for now, and I'm moving forward to upgrades. What the heck?
Yeah, okay. How many sensors do you normally run totally?
It's less in more recent, the last year or so, but I used to run about 30 or 32, somewhere in there.
Yeah, okay. They're not going to be happy parasitic mode.
No, I tried adding 2 more in parasitic, and they weren't happy with that, so I just went back to the 2 that work consistently for now. Some data is better than none.
Yeah, I don't have any hard, fast data on it, but my impression is that parasitic works for like 2 or 3 sensors, and then you start to bog down.
I don't know, if you look at it from a network standpoint, that makes sense. How much time can you make in a network to charge and discharge a capacitor, and then how many times can you do that before you run out of room for communication, bandwidth-wise?
Yeah, and how big of a capacitor can you put inside of one of them little tiny chips?
Not very big.
Yeah, although I suppose if you got creative with diodes and capacitors, you could turn a 2-wire system into a 3-wire system out at the devices.
I'm not looking to get creative, and I'm sure not looking to reinvent the digital wheel.
Yeah, touche. You start hanging stuff on that, and you start rounding off the edges on the data pulses, and you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and I can definitely put my time into much more effective things than beating my head against the wall with sensors that aren't working. That is not at all the goal. The whole idea is to set something up that's reliable. That's part of why it doesn't have Windows, and part of why I'm moving forward to a more robust architecture.
Yeah, sounds good. So just out of curiosity, how long have you had the system up and running?
Since February 26th, 2016. 74. Greenhouse is 80.
Yeah, so it's been up for several years. Problems in the past?
On and off, always related to either a bad sensor or power issues. Never have I isolated everything and still not been able to get a sensor to read correctly in normal mode. So there's something wrong in the hardware there, but the Pi has been a big part of the overarching issue anyway, because it's so reliant on operating systems and because it is not reliable for that sort of thing. So I'm going to push everything over to Arduino controlled and just let the Pi do the data logging and serve the master server sort of thing, and then just connect everything through I2C most likely.
Yeah,
92
okay.
for Halloween. Nice.
Sounds like you've been talking to Aaron.
Yeah, well, this forward move in architecture has been planned for a number of years, and we just haven't gotten around to it. And now that things are kind of screwy, I got the motivation to push forward. That, and eventually I want to upgrade to the Pi 4, so I have a little bit more robust computer for research in the greenhouse and that sort of thing. So it'll hit multiple goals at once over time.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking that Pi 4, you're looking at dual HDMIs and all this other kind of stuff and so forth and so on.
Okay.
Do you really need that much robustness for a minor data logging situation?
It's not so much about that. It's also going to be a web page server, and I plan to build a pretty robust piece of software to take all the data from the Pi and feed it out and make it controllable through the web page. And I don't really care. I think the HDMI is the wrong direction to go with the whole thing in general myself. But it's more about more memory and a more robust processor. That's really, I'm always at the core components of the machine.
Yeah, okay, because I've been toying with the Pi 4, and my thing is it looks like it was basically tweaked more for doing dual video, dual screen monitors, stuff like that, which really didn't interest me with I'm doing with webcams, sensors, and servers, and stuff like that. I mean, I'm running my temperature monitor on a Pi 0.
Yep, I hear you. I do a lot of web page browsing and research type stuff while I'm in the greenhouse, while I'm doing other stuff or in between other stuff. And I have a pretty quick machine for a base computer here. So to go from this to that and have the lag that I get even on a Pi 3B Plus is a little awkward for me. So I'm really more after the more RAM and the faster processor for that part of it. Although I may find uses for some of the other pieces over time. It's really more about a more robust processor that doesn't cost a fortune.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Threatening,
Leave a little
Chris.
pause there in case somebody wants to break in.
This is KD2 and net control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Believe it or not, this is the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any check-ins, please call now. No check-ins recognized at this time. This is KD2 IN.
And K2BHM. So anything on the back burner as in like needed to be done for winterizing the farm?
No, unfortunately, everything's on the front burners. Those are all full, and I need more burners.
Yeah, I kind of figured that would be laughed at. Yeah, I was doing stuff today, getting ready for the winter with the talk of
Thanks,
possible
Chris.
snow this coming Friday, but it sounds like it's going to be more up the Albany area. But anyhow, I was trying to get stuff done, and like I say, one step ahead and 10 steps back.
Yeah, it looks like Friday is supposed to be down in the low 20s, so I'm kind of looking forward to that, to see how the new greenhouse stove performs through it. I suspect it will be absolutely no trouble with the new setup, so looking forward to that part. I might do some expansions on the greenhouse this fall, but I don't know if I'm going to get to all that. There's so many other things in front of that have to be done, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Prioritize things and
Lookers.
knock them off one at a time. And sometimes you might change the priority because it looks like this is something that's actually doable, and the other one's going to bog you down. And it's better to get something done than to try something. And yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, that's every day on the farm. I was going to do this today, but the weather's not conducive, so we'll go do that. Or I was going to do this, but that's not ready yet, so we'll go do that. Yeah, constantly deferring from one priority to another. I guess it's good to be flexible, but it can be frustrating too. Russian spies, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
exactly. You have to
I would
take
think
every
Robin
day
would
as it
show
comes and change your priorities to do what you can get done and make the best dent in the to-do list.
Yep. And some days, even if you get stuff done, sometimes you feel like you didn't get anywhere. You gotta just carry on.
Yeah. So anyhow,
I think that's what it is, Geeky. I think it's
how are
his
the
other
bees doing?
devices.
Are they getting settled in for the winter? You got them prepared?
Yeah, they're pretty much settled in. They're ready for the cold. They got good reserves, and I haven't put insulation on yet. I'm debating whether I do that this year, but I got a little bit of time yet on that still.
So they're still out roaming around, or are they
Not so much.
pretty much going dormant, or is that depend on the temperature every day?
Yeah, it's very temperature dependent. 50 or over, sometimes you'll see a few coming out. A real warm day, 60, 65, 70, you'll see them come out and fly around a little bit, but not nearly as much as like earlier in the fall when they were still pulling resources. They're kind of just, getting ready for winter. There's no real resources for them to pull from. I don't see them pulling any pollen in. I don't see foragers going out. I see just kind of like, I don't know if they're checkout flights or what, but not a tremendous amount of activity. They're kind of hanging out, laying low.
Well, that makes sense. This time of year,
Okay, Geeky.
most of their sources of food have
I think I have that, but I'm
been
not
shut
using
down
it
and
yet.
killed by the frost and so forth, so there's not really much for them to do other than conserve energy.
Yep, that's pretty much it. And, change over and build a winter brood nest and form a good cluster and, yeah, just kind of work through resources until weather is favorable again and go for a relief flight on the warm days.
Yeah, makes sense. Never really thought about it from that
I'll have to look into
perspective,
it
but
again. It's another
listening to
thing
you
to
guys
keep up
talking
with.
about them and so forth, that well, the pieces seem to fit together and make sense.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know, kind of, I'm going to miss studying them closely, but also it gives me a chance to focus on other stuff, so I guess it's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We might
Get to
miss
the point where things will be all shut down and you'll have time to
Hey, you guys
work
are
on
building
computer
fast, huh?
projects.
Well, hopefully there's some more firewood and other projects to get together first, and then I have a whole bunch of like barn cleanup organization kind of stuff to do, because I have a ton of equipment, but none of it is organized. It all kind of came in from different resource locations, and it's kind of in pseudo-organized piles, but it's really got to be reorganized, cleaned out, sorted through, etc. So that's a big project.
Yeah, I hear you. Back before retirement, you were always running around like a chicken with your head cut off and never had time to do anything, and you were just kind of running from one project to the other and putting out fires here and there in the other place. And now that I'm retired,
Still doing
you actually do get a few minutes here and there to go and actually put tools away after you, so when you go back out there and need them, you know where they are. It's kind of a unique experience. Never had that situation in 60 years.
Oh, I know about that. My tools are all all over from various projects, and I just kind of map the last location.
Yeah, well, that's the situation. You have to remember what you did last as to where the tools would be, but at this stage of the game, you can't remember where you left your keys, your glasses, or whatever, so you got to be a lot more organized.
Okay, yeah. Maybe you should pick up some nootropics.
Some who what?
Nootropics, brain nutrients.
Yeah, okay. No, actually, the main problem I have is that you're running around and so forth and get sidetracked, and you just have to slow down and do things definitively.
Yeah, gotta plan out what you're doing and kind of keep yourself on a leash so you don't just go through 25 different things and accomplish nothing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is frustrating at times because you can remember specs and details and things that happened 25, 30 years ago. But where you put your glasses 10 minutes ago could be a challenge.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't hit that stage yet. Once in a while I'll lose my keys or I'll set something down somewhere weird and go, where did I put that? But I can usually retrace my steps and find it. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. No further check-ins recognized at this time. Back to you.
Yeah, okay. KD2IIN, K2BHM. Yeah, no, it kind of comes with the territory. As you go on in age, you tend to get sidetracked easily, and you get so engulfed in something else that you kind of lost track of what happened there and whatever, and it can be challenging. But then again, not quite Alzheimer's or dementia yet, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the human predicament. The brain doesn't finish developing until about 25, and then from 25 on, it's degrading.
Yeah, and then it kind of gets more selective too, because I can remember
'Cause it's pre-programmed.
command line interface commands for the Raspberry Pi, but then again on the other side you can't remember where you left your glasses, so it's basically, I guess, what's important to you.
Yep, it's all about where you put the focus.
Well, yeah, all my life I couldn't remember somebody's name to save my life until you've heard it a dozen times or whatever. But I could quote you specs on a motor or processor or transistor or something like that after playing with it for a few minutes.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I can remember call signs, I can remember specifications, I can remember engineering numbers, pressures, gradients, really complex information, but you tell me your name and in 30 seconds I couldn't tell you what it was until I've heard it 20 times.
Yeah, exactly. You're trained for the intricate details and stuff like that, and somehow somebody's name or face doesn't really make the list as being important.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't think they're important, it just doesn't rank in my memory data logger in my head as an important piece of information to log and hold, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of stupid, really. It should be one of the most important things you remember is a person's name so you can address them again, right? Like, I don't get why I can remember a call sign and not a name. That's the weird one for me. Like, I can remember a call sign and not a name. You would think it would be the other way around. CRS, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's always been a problem. That and the voice to go along with it. But
you're not deteriorating.
It was really a problem, like back in the past, working with the military. You'd go into a meeting or something like that, and there'd be all these colonels, and generals, and stuff like that in there, and their names, not a clue. Embarrassing.
Tell General whatever, I got his stuff figured out.
Yeah, luckily if you were close enough to them, you could see their name tag and you could go and fake it, but if they were down the end of the table from you or whatever, you were kind of screwed.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess that's is what it is.
Yeah, but somehow I managed to work through it and not get too I don't know, inhibited by it or whatever. It worked. Somehow I made it through it.
I've just taken to telling people when I meet them I'm horrible with names, so if I don't remember your name, please forgive me because I'm horrible with names. And they usually accept that, and they're willing to tell me a few times, and I usually get it.
Yeah, colonels and generals and admirals and stuff like that, they don't have a sense of humor like that, though.
Yeah, well, maybe they should get one.
Yeah, it would be helpful. Anyhow. Oh, God. Memories from the past.
Indeed, indeed. Well, so I guess you got your servos and all working, so that's good. And you doing any new projects?
Eventually I want to take a Pi, set it up as a webcam with the infrared sensing camera, the one without the IR filter on it, so that I can keep an eye out in front and have a little better night vision.
Wrote it on the card. Good security clearance. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah. My neighborhood here, when we moved in 20 years ago, was a nice, sleepy bedroom community. Half of them were year-round homes, and the other half were seasonal. People come up from someplace else for the weekend. And over the years, it turned into low-income housing, and crack houses. So the neighborhood has gone downhill, and you have to keep an eye on things. You have to have security lights and security cameras and stuff like that. We've had several neighbors that have gotten robbed, and it's not the same place anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think my response would be to move, but I guess if you've been there a long time, I can see why you'd be resistant to that. Green Dream Project! Come on in, what's going on?
Yeah, it's a hard step, but if we do wind up to put all the effort and energy and so forth into moving, it's going to be out of New York State.
I totally understand that, between the politics and the taxes and the cost of living. Yeah, I would have no argument with that myself. The crack houses. You popped
Yeah,
in at
pretty
just the
much
right
everybody
time.
that we know that is retired, if they don't have family here,
He's talking about his
they're
neighborhood going downhill. Yeah. Well, that whole area near Kingston there changed dramatically after IBM moved out.
yeah, but even friends back up in the Albany area, if they didn't have family to make them stay here, they're gone.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, it seems you drew everybody out of the woodwork with that. We got a couple of people who just jumped in, and everybody says, "Crack houses, what?"
Oh yeah,
What's up, UT?
yeah, seriously. Our neighborhood meeting, we had the Ulster Police show up to address us at the meeting, and we were informed that there's 3 crack houses on our street, and they can't really do anything about them because they have rights. Apparently we don't, but they do, and that was a very rude awakening.
Yes, the complexities of the legal system, huh?
Yeah, definitely enough to make you lose your lunch.
Yeah. Well, I can't say I disagree with you, but I don't really want to steer too deep into this topic on the air.
Yeah, I hear you. But basically, just very discouraging the way things have gone downhill so much. People don't care about people anymore. Everything's about me, and whatever, and it's discouraging.
Yeah, I hear you. But the only thing you can do to respond to that in a positive way is to ignore the discouraging stuff and keep putting out good things and good energy into the world, and be the change that you want to see. KD2, Ann? Hello, Robin.
K2BHM with K2AIN and the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Yeah, I hear you. And I basically like the Radio Amateur Club, and I'm in the Flying Club, and have some other friends and stuff like that. And you try and just basically ignore everything else and be with people that appreciate you and help you and are good company.
Yep. That's right. Put yourself around other people who are like-minded and continue to build positive things in the world. And try to outpower the negative with positive.
Yeah, you think we can hijack Niagara Falls to get some good positive going out there to counteract the negative? Sometimes it feels like that's what it's going to take.
I think it's easier and closer than we think it is, and I think as this quantum research moves forward, we're going to realize that more and more, and we're going to hit a critical mass, and we're going to be surprised how fast we can turn things in a positive direction. That's my view.
Yeah, the pendulum swings back and forth, and from a social standpoint, a political standpoint, and stuff like that, these pendulums are swinging back and forth, maybe not all in synchronization, but eventually we might be able to get them to all agree.
Well, it's like any engine. You're going to have a couple misfires before it pops off.
I thought OBD2 was supposed to take care of that and control it.
Yeah, geeky it is. Lots of communities are doing it. Well, ODBD2 ain't got nothing on the human condition, put it that way.
So the human mind doesn't work or be controlled by a CAN bus? The engineers would be very disappointed.
Well, they'll have to engineer under better standards then, I guess.
Okay, we've gotten way off the farmers and gardeners topic.
We have, and we're actually at the end of the time here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and close the net on that note. We'll leave it on a positive note. Thanks for supporting the net, Jim. I appreciate it.
Well, it's always good conversation, even if we do get a little off base and get a little levity stuck in there somewhere too.
Well, you know, it's always good to have a chuckle. It helps keep the positive vibes going.
Yeah, we can commiserate and then, like you say, look for the positives. It helps.
For sure, for sure. This is KD2IIN Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. This has been another session of the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net, offered to the amateur radio community by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club, located in Ulster County, New York. Here on the 146.805 Megahertz repeater with the PL tone of 103.5. We have another net on this frequency. It's Thursday nights at 8 p.m. That is usually run by K2JLV and usually topic oriented and usually regarding amateur radio, electronics, and things of that nature. That said, this is the end of the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net for this evening. Please join us again next week if you'd like to. And if you want to find out more about our club, our meetings, and our nets, and all the other information about our club, you can visit our website at www.omarclub.org. That's whiskey Mike Alpha Romeo Charlie Lima Uniform Bravo Oscar Romeo Golf. Thanks to all those who participated, Jim, and 7-3s to everyone. The net is officially closed and this frequency is back under regular amateur use. KD2IIN is clear. 7-3s.
Thanks, CJ. Enjoyed the conversation tonight. Have a good one. And don't forget, if you want a hand with the Raspberry Pi, I got stuff here. I got parts and tools and stuff like that and whatever. So give a holler. K2BHM, off and clear.
Whiskey Oscar. Alright, 7-3 Jim. KD2IIN is clear. Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to check out your building plans video, but I'm looking forward to that GDP. I can't wait to see what you guys build out there. I know it's going to be epic. You need some Raspberry Pi? Well, you send the raspberries, I'll send back the pie, if I don't eat them all. I love raspberries. Yeah, you guys do need a Raspberry Pi. You could monitor all your buildings for temperatures, monitor your bees, all kinds of cool stuff. Just kitchen sink water, not the shower. That's interesting because they both would have detergents. You'd have to put an air conditioning unit on it, geeky. Water the garden with what? What did I miss here? Oh, with black water, yeah. Yeah, you can, but man, some of those detergents are really bad for biology. I mean, they're pretty diluted in the garden, but I'm very careful about what goes into my grow beds. Very careful. Meat products, they're not too bad. I mean, they'll break down. Yeah, no, that's true, Chris. There's good fertilizer in there too, for sure. I mean, think of all the grime and dirt that comes off from sinks and washing and all that. Yeah, I'm picky about the detergents I use too, geeky. For my own personal health. Yeah, for sure. Grey water safe items, definitely. Are you guys gonna put like regular plumbing in, or are you gonna stick with the composting toilet? You guys have been doing that for a long time, right? Tender skin. The government. Oh, the government. Homemade soap. Yeah, I actually want to make some of my own soap. I looked into it a little bit, but I haven't gotten around to carrying that project forward. But I have lots of wood ashes for it. Saves. You're going with the composting even for the house. Yeah, I figured because it saves a tremendous amount of water. Oh, that's right. Are you guys going to drill a well, or are you going to continue just working with rainwater? I mean, you guys got some nice tanks there. Woo! I envy your tanks. You got nice tanks, baby. What do you guys use for your soap, Chris? Pig fat? Lard? I'm going to pick out a one of my big plastic barrels and start saving my wood ashes in it and making my own lye and that kind of thing. Rainwater as long as possible. Yeah. How deep do you have to drill a well out there to hit water? Like reliable water? Too sensitive? Huh. The way I understand the soap is it has to cure for a few weeks before you use it. But it may still be too strong for your skin, I don't know. Beef tallow and lye. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that being used. I was looking into making some with beeswax, but the one video I found, she was only using like 3% beeswax. So I was like, okay, I'm going to need another fat to do this. 350 to 400. Okay, well, there's people around here with wells that deep. Although I don't think ours is anywhere near that deep. I think ours is maybe 100, and we got water down at like 25 or 30. But my one friend has a 500-foot deep well. I don't think he hits water till like 250 or 300, but he's way up on a hill. But yeah, that's an expensive drilling project for sure. That's no joke. And hey, the rainwater doesn't cost you anything, right? Like, it doesn't cost you anything, and you don't have to pump it a long ways, so you're not burning power on pumping water. So you can divert that power to air conditioning or whatever else you want. It's kind of nice. Yeah. See, I was thinking about using coconut oil and beeswax. I think that would make a really sweet soap. I use coconut oil for just about everything. I mean, just about everything. I do all my infusions in it. I put some in my coffee when I drink my coffee. I use it for cleaning. I use it for cleaning gas and grease and dirt off my hands if it's like greasy dirt, for getting sap off of things. It's just, it's the universal cure-all as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, and you're still not guaranteed to hit water. Yeah, and then if you have big plantations around you, pump and you could hit water, and in a couple of years you won't have water. Yeah, I hear you, GDP. I think you guys get the right concept there. I was amazed how much rain you guys get when you get it. I mean, you guys get hammered. If you go too deep, you hit salt water, Geeky? I guess that makes sense. Huh. So you actually hit ocean water if you go down too far. There must be a freshwater layer in the soil on the ocean water, huh? Interesting. Never made soap out of lime, but I've seen it can be pretty mild on the skin. Yeah, I use coconut oil for to protect my skin from the sun and that kind of stuff too. Or if it gets dry, I use it to moisten it. 3 wells, 25, 35, and 50 foot. Good water only at 35. Nice. I just put the ram pump back from, I was backdrafting from the pond as a reservoir over the summer because water was low, and we just got enough rain this last week that I was able to close that backdraft up, and I'm back on pure spring water. So now I'm flushing the lines with the ram pump so I can go back to actually drinking spring water again. I'm so looking forward to drinking fresh spring water again. Yeah, I was gonna say the homemade soap I think is better on your skin than anything you buy over the counter. But you do have to let it cure, right, Chris? It's got to cure for like 3 weeks or something after you make it. So the lye, there's something about the lye having to cure out of it or something like that. I remember a little bit from what I've seen, bits and pieces here and there over the years. I really want to go back and like get good at it and refine the process. It's one of the things that I don't have in-house yet. Shampoo is pointless. Yeah, I don't use it. Soap is, yeah, if you use soap, you got to be careful because you'd be surprised how much you can absorb, how much toxin you can absorb through your skin from soap. And that also goes for bad water as well. They say you absorb about 1/4 of water for a typical shower. So if you're showering in toxic water, boy, you're doing yourself damage. I think it was 3 weeks, Geeky, but I mean, you could err on the side of caution and make soap 2 months in advance, and you should be good, right? I was going to ask GDP something else. No, I was going to ask Chris something. What was it, though? Parmes has an article on going poolless. Poolless? Skin is our largest organ. Yes, exactly. Or it gives you superpowers. What if you already have superpowers, GDP? I love you guys, by the way. A crock pot bread pudding. Nice, Robin. The other night I did some grass-fed ground beef that my mom gave me, and some sweet potatoes and delicata squash in a Dutch oven. I gotta do something else soon, because that was really good. Making some good food. I've been eating garbage all summer. Mostly pasta. Ugh. It tastes good, but it's just not good food. Well, maybe you just have superpowers you don't know about, Chris. I terminated my alter ego, Gigi. Well, you're invited, Robin, but it's a long trip for a dinner. What was I going to ask Chris? Something about something. I think it was about soap or something. I can't remember now. Oh well. I have a friend that's been struck twice by lightning, Chris. He is deathly afraid of lightning storms. I'm the other way. I'm like lightning and thunder? Oh, let me go outside and watch. It'd probably be the death of me, but at least I'll die to a beautiful light show. Virtual dinner. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't film it, I'm sorry. I should have. How's your bees doing, GDP? Yeah, some people have some weird magnetic electrical thing, Kiki. I'd love to know more about what that's about. I know a few people that have similar things like that. A watch will stop on, like, they have the weirdest effect on electronics. No light show. Well, I guess the one that gets you, there's no light show. Or there's not a light show you get to enjoy. Still alive, that's good. And they're settled into their new hives from the last video I saw, so that's good. Looks like you guys got bees now, that's awesome. Phones, yeah. Like doing conky stuff around you. Electricity does tickle. Depending on the voltage, it tickles harder on some things than others. I have one friend who seems to make, you know, the high pressure sodium street lights, the big street lights, he seems to make those go out when he goes under them. Weirdest thing. Everywhere he goes, street lights go out. Yeah, just stop working. Exactly. They go out and then like he'll move further along and they'll come back on. What makes that happen? Weird. They used to do it to me too, Geeky, but they don't seem to anymore. Maybe I fried out over the years and hit my Curie temperature and lost my magnetism. Well, some are on timers, but this was weird. I had it happen from time to time. I would go places with him. We would like be driving down the road or walking down the street, and like the light would go out when he'd go under it, and it would come back on, and the next light would go out and come back on, like in sequence. So either somebody's playing with the lights, watching us walk, or there's something weird going on there, or it's just coincidence. But it seems like a really strange coincidence to happen again and again. Yeah, you guys gonna do cows or anything out there, GDP? I'd love to have my own beef. I'd love to have my own steaks. That would be awesome, but I'm just not quite ready to handle cows, I don't think. Yeah, my magnetism's gone, Robin. I'm a supernova, collapsing star. Soon I'll be a black hole. Driving or walking, yeah. I don't know. Weird, right? Strangeness. Take a running iron to those in your yard? What? Goats or sheep? Yeah, I've thought about goats too. Actually, goat meat is really good. I've only I've only had it a couple of times, but a Jamaican dude that I knew made some awesome dishes with goat meat, and I got to imagine, you know, from a livestock perspective, it's pretty similar to deer meat, right? To venison. Similar animal, similar ruminant animal, if I can talk. The chickens are great. I want to do some broilers next year, actually. Change the brand to GDP. Yeah, gross domestic product. I like it. Green Gene Project is a great name, by the way. As is Homesteading the Hard Way. Tastes different. Yeah, I figured it would be a little difference. Yeah, don't sheep graze down to a very short level? And goats are more of a browser, so they could hit all of that brush kind of stuff, that underbrush sort of well, not underbrush, but, you know, prairie brush stuff that grows around you guys. They probably could make better use of that than like a sheep, which I think they're more of a grass-eating animal. But Chris or Kiki or one of you guys may know more about that than I do. I'm not really very familiar with sheep at all. Yeah, goats are pretty resilient, and they're browsers. I mean, they're natural browsers, a lot like deer, where they'll go after the tips of branches. They can eat stuff that so many other ruminant animals don't or would turn away. Oh, you do have a lot of grass. Okay. Yeah, I still don't totally understand your environment. I'm learning it from watching you guys, though. It's interesting to see that environment. I'm so unfamiliar with what's going on. Did it really go down? No. Showing stream health. Did I go down? Buffering. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Is it back now? Looks like it is. Borderline grasslands. Okay. Yeah, you're like what? More northern Arizona than southern? Very far south. Okay. Yeah, I don't know Arizona at all. I have a friend who has land out there. I'll have to ask him. I think his land is I think he's more northern than southern, but I could be wrong. Practically Mexico. Okay. Do you guys ever have drug mules or any of that kind of stuff coming through your area? I mean, that you've noticed? Are you ever concerned about security from that standpoint? I guess it'd be more of my question. You're a goat guy, Chris? Well, as long as you can keep them in, yeah, but boy, if they get out, they can do a lot of damage fast. That same Jamaican dude that lived next to me on the old farm had I don't know, 6 or 8 goats, and man, he would take them out in the afternoon and cut them loose. It was just amazing what they could eat and how fast they could eat it. They could just destroy vegetation. Incredible. Never seen anything like that. Good. Hope it stays that way. Just Doug Stanhope, huh? That's a decent trade-off. fence out there don't have to keep them in. Rather see the drug mule, yeah. Well, till they decide they need a place to top up on water and food and resources and I get you from watching them pass by, but the concern would be that they would show up and demand something. Although I suppose if you're armed and prepared to handle that, it's not a big deal, although I'd rather not be in that sort of conflict. So that's got to be Jim then. Send him to see Doug. Doug will put him in their place. No doubt about it. Doug will put them right in their place. There you go. Well, hey, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, if they swing by for a random drop a sack of money on your doorstep, that's not bad. We want water. Here's $100 grand. Take all the water you want. Have fun. I don't know. Somehow I don't think it would work out quite as nice as that. But I like sending them to Doug. Doug will know what to do. Yeah, exactly. Better have somewhere to hide it. Plus, you know, go through it and make sure it's not like serialized bills. I don't know. Dirty money's a risky proposition at the end of the day. Yeah, go trade it out somehow. I don't know. A bale of weed, yeah. That's kind of cool. That's not a bad find. Rum runners, yeah. Yeah, funny how that works, huh? You prohibit something and then all of a sudden its value goes way up. 100 and something years and we still haven't learned this? Dirty or clean, I'll take it. A bale of weed, yeah. Sure, why not? Although, I don't know, if you're finding it in the ocean, how... Were they finding them dry, Geeky? Like, were they wrapped so they weren't wet? Or was it like... you know, wet? Nothing like smoking a salty joint, I guess. Oh, that would be really cool. Pull the boat right into the cellar? That'd be awesome. Even if it's soaking wet in salt water? What are you going to do with that, Chris? Turn around and flip it as Mexican brickweed. Try it out and sell it. I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't let them taste test it if you're doing that. Hey man, what'd you get tonight? Oh, picked up a bag of seaweed. Want to get salty with me? Money is money, I'll give you that. I like the boat in the basement idea. That's cool though. Not for drug running, just because that's a cool way to like pull your boat right into the house. That's awesome. I like the idea of the water in the basement. It just gives me all kinds of like engineering ideas about. I always wanted to build a lock system here actually from the spring pond all the way up. But it would be a huge, huge project. It's not practical. Could be cut. I suppose. Oh, really? Is there a Hatfield house nearby? Or did they finally decide to move to a different neighborhood? Me too, Chris. Because I know we'd make an awesome island together. Telling you, that's what we need to do. Just buy ourselves an island. All of us get together, buy an island, move there, put all our skills together. Or you, GDP. Well, you would think, right? I mean, they never seem to get it together that, hey, you know, if our families are always feuding and killing each other, maybe we should just have a different neighborhood for our family. Nobody ever wants to give up their turf, though, right? Is that how we end up in endless conflict on this planet? Endless wars? Okay, Robin. Yeah, the seaweed, yeah. Now I get you. Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't say it was an island around you, Geeky. We probably couldn't afford an island around you. We probably have to go somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. South Pacific, maybe? I know, not hurricanes. Then you're looking at typhoons, right? Big piece of land in Bolivia didn't work out. Yeah, I know. You gotta find the right spot. The other problem with an island is getting to it. Or from it, or getting supplies to it, etc., etc. You gotta be rich first, I think. Which I'm not. I'll buy an island with my YouTube revenue. What do you think a grain of sand sticking into the ocean costs? Yeah, me too, Geeky. The things you own end up owning you. Yeah, land. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Where land is cheap, it's war torn in third world, or if it's in the U.S., there's always a reason it's cheap at the end of the day, right? Like if it was really good land, It ain't cheap. There's one YouTube video. It's like 10 towns that will pay you to live there. And every one of them, there's a reason they'll pay you to live there. Half a cent will go a long way. Yep. So true. Well, guys, I gotta go stoke the greenhouse and carry on with some other chores here, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and close it out for the night. But thank you guys all for participating, supporting the Pharmacy Seeds Network. Always enjoy chatting with you all and your company, and good chuckles, laughs, and comments. And I wish you all a wonderful week, and I thank you all for watching. And hope you all have a good evening. So, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. We'll talk to you all soon. Oh, and Kiki, I haven't forgot about your challenge. It's still on my list of things to do. I will get to it. Alright, good night, everybody. Peace.